favorite tire puncture repair tool is the Dyna Plug. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some tips and tricks for preparing yourself for the eventuality of repairing a puncture. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when it will happen. So I know some of you are new to riding out there, and some of you guys are getting started back into riding. And if you're not used to tubeless tires, that's what I'm going to cover, is doing tire repairs on tubeless tires. So I will go over what I carry in my tire repair kit, why I carry that, and just a few tips and tricks that I've picked up that will make doing a tire repair a bit easier and, well, frankly, a little less intimidating. So what I'm going to do is take everything out of my kit. This is a bit excessive, and I'll explain why, and go over all of those items and what you can do to get ready to handle your own punctures. All right, I've ridden with enough people over the last few years to know that quite a few of you out there are not carrying what you need to repair a puncture. And don't rely on other people. Take what you need. Even if you're intimidated to do the puncture yourself, at least if you have what's needed to repair your tire, you can get some help from somebody else. Maybe someone you're riding with, or if you do call a tow truck or something else, maybe that person would be able to take care of the tire for you. Now, I carry a pretty big kit because with the traveling that I do, I want to be able to take care of just about every possible scenario that could happen. So my kit is quite big. But if all you needed to do is just carry something small, you could get away with just a puncture repair kit here, and I carry a compressor, and then what is missing from here is my multi-tool with some pliers, and that would really be all you would need. If you carry that, you could take care of most punctures. All right, my favorite tire puncture repair tool is the Dyna Plug, and I'll get a close-up of what these look like. They have a metal tip, and the plug itself is buried in it, and then all you have to do is fit it in this device. And there's a bit of a trick to getting these in because it's a bit gooey. So once that seats in all the way, it goes flush with the point of this. You don't have to ream the hole out of the tire, you just pull the object out and then you can jam it in there. And so I really like this kit. Now there's a trick to getting these in that I'll show you in a minute. You can also use these bacon strips or the string plugs. I haven't used these yet. I've used other types of plugs, but these you have to ream the hole out in order to get it to fit. So you're taking an object that like a nail or something that's maybe left a smaller hole and making a bigger hole to put one of these in. But these work pretty well. The important thing, if you're going to buy these, is get the vulcanizing strings. And the reason you want to do that is vulcanizing strings will chemically bond to the tire to seal up the hole. There's quite a few videos out there of guys showing you how to do this, so I'm not going to go through the steps of showing you how to use one of these bacon strips, partly because I don't have a tire that I can run a nail through right now, and I wanted to get this video done, and I think it's been done so many times that I didn't want to waste your guys' time watching me do something that you could find probably better instruction than what I could give. I'm not sure if the Dyna Plugs, when I was looking at their website, if they're vulcanizing or not, but I've used these and they seal the hole up really well. So as far as that goes. Now, some of you may have used the mushroom plugs. I've tried the mushroom plugs, and for one, you have to make the hole really, really big in order to get that in there. And it's just a chunk of rubber, and I've been unable to get those to fully seal. It's better than having a nail in there, but because you have to create such a big hole and having difficulty with the seal, I don't carry those anymore. Let's see. So if you are considering carrying CO2 cartridges, I'll just tell you right now, I think it's a waste. In order to get enough CO2 cartridges to fill like your back tire, you're gonna need about 10 of these. 1 or 2 or even 4, you're maybe gonna get to 15, 18 PSI. Same with the front tire. So You'll see motorcycle tire repair kits that come with these. These are great for bikes, not for motorcycles, so skip this. If you don't want to carry a compressor, then carry a bike pump. I always carry this as a backup, so if my compressor dies, I can use this. This one is quite big. There's some smaller ones. I have a smaller one I carry on my other bike. Now, I carry a rechargeable compressor. I've found this to be a really fantastic little tool. I'll get a closer shot of this, but the face of it, I can set the pressure I want the tire at and then just hook it up in the back here and connect it to the wheel. Turn the power on, basically let it sit there, and once it gets to pressure, it'll stop running and I'll take it off. I have another one of these that I've been using for over 3 years, and I leave it in the garage to air up tires before I ride, and battery still holds a charge. It does really well. I will carry the recharging cable in my bag right here, so if I do end up using the compressor while I'm out riding on the trail or traveling, I can just plug it in to the bike. I can just plug it into the bike and get it recharged. Not a big deal. I prefer these over some of the other pumps because I can check the pressure on it and just set it where I want it. I don't have to air it up for a while, take it off, put the tire gauge on it and pull it off. It's simple. It weighs maybe a little bit more space wise. It's just a little bit different configuration than some of the others, but I really like it. So if this is something you're interested in, I'll leave a link to these little compressors in the description below. Let's see. So I like I said, I carry a much bigger pack because I like to be prepared for about every possible scenario. So I'll go through what the rest of the things that I have. I carry the Motion Pro bead breaker. I have found this to work really, really well. I've been able to break beads on the GS, no problem, with just a little bit of patience and working your way around the wheel, just taking a little bit at a time. Once you get around, like 1.5 times, I think is all it took, and then I can pop that bead off and start lifting the tire. Now, the great things about these also double as tire irons. So you could technically do everything you need with just these as far as taking tires on and off. I do carry a third one just in case I need to this has a little lip on it here to kind of get up and around things. So I do carry that just in case I need some different leverage or different spots or it's a little bit tight. I did show you I carry the string plugs, so I've got the reaming tool here. I just put a little nut on the end of it to keep it from poking through my bags, and then the insertion tool. So if I have a bigger hole that the Dyna Plug's not going to work for, I can ream it and then jam a string in it. And then in the event that I tear a tire and have a big gash in it and just fixing a puncture isn't going to work, I do carry a tube, and this is looks like it's a 19-inch tube, so it'll go in the front and I can squeeze it in the rear if I need to, but this is really for emergency use. If I'm getting into this and I've had a really bad day, but because I ride so much by myself in some remote areas, I want to make sure I have what I need to get myself out of a jam. I also carry a valve stem puller. So if I do have to put the tube in, you just put this into the inside of the tube and it'll help you fish it through the wheel. So I carry that because it's small and it's pretty easy to carry. It'll save me a lot of trouble trying to get that tube put in. For some reason I have multiple valve stem tools, so if I have to pull the valve stem out for some reason, I've got a few tools to do that. And then valve stems are small, so I also carry quite a few valve stems. So here's the multi-tool that I carry for pulling stuff out. Now, a couple other things before I get into some tips and tricks here is I also, if I'm going to do a lot of traveling, I carry a little bit of dish soap and a bowl and a little disposable shop rag. And that way, if I do have to pull the bead off and lift the tire, I can lube it. So I'll mix this with a little bit of water, lube the bead, and that just makes it easier to lift the tire off if you get to that point, which hopefully you don't. Let's see, what else can I talk about here? So the Dyna Plugs are really great. So I'm gonna go back to the Dyna Plug and talk about how great these are. But the issue is getting this dang plug in the metal insertion. So what I have found is your hands are already gonna be dirty, so you kind of have to get over this, is I put saliva on this, and I will show you with some saliva that this goes right in. So I just spit on it, lube it, and that just goes normally. Have to maybe twist it a little because these can get pretty tricky to get in. So without doing that, I've had a lot of trouble getting the Dyna Plugs into the tool, but doing that means that I can get it in there. And the reason I don't use oils or anything is oils don't dry out. At least my saliva will dry out and not interfere with the ability of this tool or this plug to patch the tire. So now it's ready to be jammed into the tire. So that's just another tip. The other thing, if I had an issue where I could not find the hole, the nail was not left in the tire or whatever the puncture was, whatever caused that puncture. So I find spit is a really good way of finding punctures on tires. What I had to do was look at places that looked like there were holes. I would spit on it, rub the spit around, and the great thing about spit is it's a little bit slimy, so you get the bubbles out of it. I've tried water. Water just runs off. I don't find that to be very effective. So that's some of the things that I do. The last thing of this kit that's probably not obvious is this small piece of tarp that everything is laid out on. I carry this little piece of tarp for two reasons. One is if I have to, for some reason, take the tire off of the bike in order to, I don't know, put a tube in it, I want to have a clean surface to put that wheel down so I'm not getting dirt, sand, debris, whatever in the wheel bearings. And the other thing that this works really well as is a small shower floor. So if I'm traveling and I need to take a shower, I want to take a shower, just rinse off, and I don't want my feet to be all muddied and dirty, I will put this down on the ground and then I can just rinse off on top of this. So that's also something I recommend putting in. I think it's, I don't know, 18 inches by 2 feet. So it's not terribly big, it folds out pretty small, and has been extremely useful in my travels. Last tip that I think is really useful, something that I did, is if you've got a tire that needs to be replaced, before you take it in, if you're going to take the wheel off your bike, grab a nail and a hammer and start pounding away at it, put some holes in it, and then get your puncture repair kit out and start practicing so that you know what you need to do and how challenging it can be to get those plugs in and reaming the hole out, depending on how that tire is made and how thick the carcass is. So I hope you found this useful, especially if you're just getting back into riding and you're not sure what to use for a tire puncture repair kit, or thinking that what tools you should be carrying with you. And ride safe. I hope you have lots of plans to get out and do some riding, and I will see you out there.